So, onwards to The Suffering That Ties the Bind Part 2. This part in particular will be helping Jimmy, aka Kyle, get across the city, as well as gaining access to our Insanity Form. The Insanity Form in this one has a bunch of different stuff to it, so we'll get to see that as the game progresses. But since we're going for the good side, we'll be more of a bluish Hulk kind of looking Insanity Beast. And this guy, you could shoot him, but we're good boys, so we're going to just leave him be. He's definitely not unique in the fact that he is probably on something, so this entire part is basically helping a particular guy named Kyle who is coming down off of a bad trip, and we need to assist him going and getting his fix to fix that. So, but yeah, we have Killjoy talking to us, but then we also have Blackmore coming in as well.
Newsflash, Dateline Baltimore. Mayhem in the city as history's worst atrocities walk the streets, and law enforcement is powerless to contain the threat. And it would appear our dashing hero Torque is right back where he started. Sad, isn't it?
And again, Killjoy, like in the first one, he's kind of a dick, but he does, underneath it all, care about helping Torque, so he's definitely still an asshole, up his own ass, but he is still a decent dude and trying to help people, even if he has terrible methods at going about it.
Don't you see how you let us all down, T? You were gonna keep us safe, but with your temper, you made enemies, and we could never be safe. T, I trusted you. The boys trusted you. You should have known you couldn't always be there.
But yeah, Carmen hitting us with that reality check.
But I've always found the dead more fascinating than the living. You must be confused. You made all the right choices, yet...
So currently, after this cutscene, we're going to have to work on getting our Insanity Form, so...
It's time for all the players to show themselves.
Introduce Blackmore.
When it comes to the end game, it'll only be the two of us. And maybe one other. You should already know him. And I've got some friends that can help you get reacquainted.
But if you're wondering, Blackmore is talking about our wild side. So in this one, we don't have the yellow bar anymore. As you can see up at the top left, we have a kind of cracked meter. Looks like glass being cracked. But now you can see we're more of a blue, monstrous form of Torque himself. So in this form in particular, our first special attack is Burrower Chains. If we use a attack, then we can actually summon chains from the ground that will just insta-kill any enemies that come near. And it does just auto-track them, so... The special abilities in Insanity Form were a lot better in this one. And Insanity Form itself just has a ton more use. There are just specific sections where that is all that you can do. You have to use Insanity Mode to deal with things. Like captains and certain walls we can only take out while we're in Insanity. But here, we only have 2 double barrel shots left, so I'm probably going to end up using them and then switching to another weapon. Or just end up taking the revolver. Revolver's still pretty good too. Honestly, I guess I was just having trouble deciding which weapons I want to use. But here, Killjoy's actually going to let us know that we need to use our monstrous form in particular to deal with certain things.
You may find it does more to help you now than ever before.
So it's basically Torque taking advantage of the fact that he has monster strength to deal with particular obstacles in his way. Which is kind of interesting. It's like he's making the stuff work for him. And there we did kind of overflow, stood in insanity too long, and ended up taking a little bit of damage to our health. And that Gorger hit us and took a shit ton of life from us. So, enemies are definitely dangerous in this one. In particular, the two shotguns actually have separate shell counts, so you don't have to worry about them overlapping. So, if we have double barrels and we have a regular 12 gauge, we actually get separate counts on them, which is nice. But here, I knew there was a revolver over there, as well as this one backstage, so I end up taking both of them to get dual revolvers, which are really powerful. The dual revolvers will take out Slayers in one shot, essentially, so they are really good.
Yo, bro.
But here we actually get introduced to Kyle. I usually refer to him as Jimmy, just because I always forget his name, so if I call him Jimmy, just know that his name is Kyle. But yeah, he's having a terrible time. The morality decision, you can get rid of him right off the bat, or escort him. Kyle is especially defenseless because of his current situation with abuse. So, if you go for the evil morality, you don't really have to worry about escorting him. He's not going to help you out in any particular way. So, if you do want to be evil, you can just get rid of him immediately, but we're going to be good, so we're going to escort him. In particular, I was kind of talking over him, but he does see you as his father, so he's kind of delusional. But at the same time, it is kind of, honestly adorable in a sort of way. So you're kind of his protector, reluctantly. But at the same time, if you do play the good playthrough, you can kind of see yourself as actually a good person protector. And possibly a father figure for this guy. But yeah, you can see the burrower chains. We don't really have to worry about the same problem as in the first one. The burrower chains won't target Kyle, so we can just automatically use the special attacks in insanity mode and have absolutely no worries about hitting Kyle. Like in the first one, we had to worry about our ground slams or anything in particular, even whenever we were doing a good playthrough, could hit our NPC companions, but now they only target enemies, so it's really good. We don't have to worry about hitting our friendlies anymore.
I don't know if there's a way around or somehow to get this out of the way.
But currently we have to lift this crane over here to help Kyle through. So, clear out all the enemies, lift the stack of bricks, and then he comes on through.
I knew I could count on you. You always take care of me, man. Well, I'll take care of you. You'll see. Let's roll on out of here. My sick is only getting worse.
But yeah, we still just need to escort him along. Eventually we'll get him to a particularly gruesome scene, so if you're squeamish, you probably won't want to see it. But
Creepy crawlies is all over me. They're biting me. Get them off!
poor Kyle is just kind of having a terrible time.
Help me!
Yeah, we can walk ahead and he'll kind of just start going too. So we definitely want to start walking along sooner rather than later, just to help the poor guy out quicker. He is also kind of vulnerable, so we don't want to hold him quicker than, or longer than we need to, because the longer we have him, the more dangerous it can be for him. The NPCs are particularly good at keeping themselves alive, though, in this one. I didn't really have too many issues, except for one particular person later on, where it was a real issue. But here we have the introduction of the next enemy. Their particular connotation is gun violence or gang violence, which is pretty apparent. They happen to have a bunch of bullet holes, have a shit ton of guns. Really just putting in the work on all of that. But yeah, mainly we just have to shoot the ever-loving shit out of them to get rid of them. They kind of work in the same way as the marksmen. You take cover, don't let them just blast the hell out of you. So we definitely don't want that to happen too much. But they are triggermen, that is their name, which is, I mean, yeah, it's fitting, so.
Thanks for your help.
But we do have the good morality decision of helping these cops as well. So after we help them, we can talk to them.
More firepower? Take whatever you need.
Yeah. Consider yourself deputized.
Yeah, I will. I'll do it this
After
time.
everything,
I swear, Pops.
I still believe
So yeah, as long as we help the cops out, keep them alive, that's a good morality decision. So we do go with that. And Kyle kind of ran off ahead of us, so we don't want to leave him unescorted for too long. But after we do help those cops, they open a box of shotguns next to their car, so we definitely want that.
But looking at it now, I think
And here we have a little bit of backstory with Carmen coming up.
What did you say your name was?
Most call me Torque,
What kind of a full name is that? I can never call you that.
but you can call me whatever you want. You seem like a man who wants to be a real player. I've got a proposition.
And
It'll make you more
if you
money
haven't
than
exactly
years running
put
pretenders
the
at that
voices
so-called
together
gym.
yet,
Even when you take me to a nice
Torque
night out, I like
and
when
Blackmore
you
are voiced by the
all
exact
sad,
same guy,
feel broken down
Michael
gazebo.
Clark Duncan. So
Where'd you get all that green anyway?
yeah,
What'd you say that
it's
guy's name was?
it's a bit of a hint as to the story.
Yeah, am I right? If you're gonna make it far, you need to be unattached.
But yeah, they never really do give you Torque's actual name. You just know him as Torque. I would assume he has an actual name because he said most people call me Torque,
This is no way to raise
but
a family, T. No amount of
I
money
don't
is
really know
worth
at the
it.
same time.
He's just using you.
But we have the backstory of Blackmore's basically offering him money, but doesn't want him to be attached to anyone. So Carmen is kind of standing in the way of that,
He called me T at work.
as well as Corey and Malcolm.
I can't even repeat it.
So
But he told me I
we
should
definitely
think
don't
about my
want
children. What the hell is that
attachments,
supposed to mean? What have you
so to
gotten us
speak.
into?
with Blackmore. As you can probably guess, it didn't turn out the best for those said attachments. And the triggermen in this one, definitely in particular, are really annoying to deal with. They can knock you down and deal a ton of damage if there's no real cover. But again, insanity mode, super good in this one. It can actually completely mess up every enemy in quite a radius. But here I just pull out the dual revolvers. As you can see, super powerful weapons. They're not like the revolvers in the first one, they are high caliber, so they end up taking out most enemies in one shot whenever you use them. But we have another triggerman that comes up. And again, they have a shotgun. And if you get too close, they like to use them. They're kind of assholes. But we can just take them out and then carry on with Kyle here. There is one particular problem with ammo in this one where it doesn't just fill remaining ammo. It actually,
Might as well shoot me yourself.
you need to have a certain amount missing before you can pick up stuff.
What the?
Come on, Pops.
Like hell.
But yeah, the creeper shows up too.
It's right over here. I can't.
Meanwhile, Kyle's having a moment.
What do you have in there, Torque? She gonna find out your secrets? You know that's how these bitches work.
get there
They
soon.
slide
Might
up
as well
in
shoot me
close
yourself.
and try to suck your life away. Be careful she doesn't empty you.
Right over here.
What's that little cunt up to anyway?
Can't wait, man. Oh,
But yeah, the Creeper, basically his entire dialogue sections are just him being a giant freaking weirdo. Absolutely creepy bastard, so he's named appropriately. Fun fact, his women in his coat actually have names as well, so that's a little strange. The Creeper was actually a pimp at one point who ended up murdering his prostitutes, so it's definitely interesting backstory for that guy.
See the effects of purified narcotics on the human brain. Best to have a look while they're
But here,
still alive.
we're gonna have an example of Killjoy being a weirdo.
Most fascinating.
Just how he
Medical
works is
subjects
weird.
are so hard to find.
He's old-timey. He doesn't really give a whole lot of attention to other life.
The human mind hardly
He
takes any
has
effort at
old
all to
methods of
make it
doing things, but at the same time, he kind of comes off as genuine, so it is really weird.
This one seems to have a delusional fondness for you. Most curious.
But for Kyle here, he doesn't touch him, so... But yeah, as you can see, if it has to do with curing Torque, he actually shows an interest in that. He doesn't end up offing Kyle, just for the fact that he thinks that Kyle will actually help us be a better person. So that's kind of interesting.
Let it all out.
But here we're gonna have a captain. Again, you can tell them from the others by their, like, smoky vapor kind of effect that goes on around them. And you have to use insanity mode on them, otherwise you cannot get rid of them. But the good part about using insanity on captains is that they fill a ton of insanity back up after you get rid of them.
Now that that's out of the way,
The captains in particular, though, you'll never soft lock because they always spawn multiple enemies, like littler enemies, on repeat until you use insanity mode to get rid of them. So you definitely want to prioritize the captains with insanity mode first to get them off of the playing field so they aren't just enemy spawners.
Ah, yes, your dear friend Miles. But where to find him
But again,
at a time like this?
Dr. Killjoy is kind of leading us down the right path. He's just showing us where to go, what we need to think about, and where we need to be. So, Dr. Killjoy definitely has more of a helpful approach in this one, rather than antagonistically helping. But this poor lady here with her baby is actually a morality decision. But we do have a fire axe and a door over to our left that we need to break down. Again, they don't really soft lock you, you just need to get the fire axe. But here for the squeamish people, there is the messed up part coming up here.
No one else would.
But there we can see we did the good morality, because Kyle got to where he needed to go. But we'll be following him there shortly.
This is some good stuff, then. I take it and I feel happy. It's the only time
Come
I
on,
can
what are
forget
you
about
doing?
you.
But yeah, that phone call was from our own kid. But in the next room, you're definitely going to want to look away if you're squeamish. It is kind of messed up.
Oh yeah, Freddy.
And Kyle here is so out of it from drug use that he doesn't even know that Freddy there is kind of already gone.
That's the yeah. Hey man,
I'm still not entirely sure why the good morality decision is to help the junkie get his fix, but at the same time, it's better than flat out, you know, offing him, I guess, so... But you'd think that the best thing would be to lead him to the cops who help him instead of, you know, helping him get back to a state where it isn't really good for him. But we do have the mainliners again, juxtaposed with Kyle, who is currently in the fetal position on the floor. You can kind of guess that the mainliners are supposed to be about drug abuse in this one. So instead of being death by lethal injection, they are instead representative of drug abuse in urban area. And again, most people are morality decisions, but we don't really want to cause any harm to anyone. We're playing the good playthrough, so. But here, we just need to get rid of all the mainliners. After that, we can get this lady in to get her baby. Which again, a bit of a heavy topic, but you'll see. But if you don't want to see some disturbing imagery, you might want to look away. Again, this whole game is basically disturbing imagery, so. I'm not exactly sure on the story beats of this part, but at the same time, I think it's probably implied that this lady lost her baby a while ago and is having a kind of terrible vision reminding her of her baby, so. But yeah, we also have Blackmore and visions of our kids. And more mainliners coming in. But we are getting close to the next part. So we're just going to clear the building of the mainliners. And then we're going to be going outside to the next part. There is a mainliner in the next room that we need to get rid of. So we're going to get rid of him. But other than that, we've just got a few more enemies that we've taken care of, and we're going to go outside to the next part. So, let me know what you guys think, and have a good one.
I don't get how stepped on just some.
Aiken.